right, good afternoon, everyone. Can you guys hear me? All right, perfect. So, welcome. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Grant Phillips. I'm Jim's son-in-law, married to Kirsty's oldest daughter. And Lorna very kindly asked me to help her run things yesterday. A lot of you have come from far and wide. Some of you from next door. So that's great. But it's lovely to see so many familiar faces. I know there are a lot of stories kicking around the room, and I'm along with most people here very keen to hear them over a couple of drinks later. We're going to try and keep proceedings relatively quick. Jim, whilst he was never short on a long story, was never overly impressed with a long event. So we've tried to keep things as short as possible. In terms of the order of today, as I say, it's pretty relaxed. We're going to try and keep it relatively quick. I'm going to hand over shortly to Cecil Rhodes, and just to lead us in service, and then we've got a couple of eulogies, some messages from people overseas who couldn't make it, which I'll try and get through, and then Cecil will close, and I'll have a couple of words at the end, but hoping to keep this part of proceedings relatively short and keep the hundreds and thousands of stories that I'm sure everyone has in their hearts for afterwards. So, Cecil, can I hand over to you?
Hello friends, we're here today to honour the life of James Fairhurst, and I think that'll be the last time I'll call him James. Jim, we remember him today. That's why we're here, and to give thanks for his life. So this is a sacred moment. It's going to happen once for all of us, to be here to pay tribute to him. If we could stop the clock and pause time, we would do that. I think it's true to say, and I'll leave it to those who speak later, that Jim was larger than life, and that he lived at a fairly high speed. I think that would be true. Reminds me of a song by Queen. I didn't jot it down, where he says, going at the speed of light, living a good fast life. I'd say a life well lived was Jim's. He was born on the 14th of September 1947, and he died on the 7th of March. So he was 77 years old. Jim is survived by Lorna, his wife, his daughters Kirsty and Grant, and Alex and Liam, and his grandchildren sitting up here in the front, Abby, Oliver, Erin and Sophie. We remember too Philippa, his firstborn, who died tragically as an infant. Now there's three things we're going to do today, or we're going to try and do them. Right at the center of the service is to give thanks and smile and celebrate and pay tribute to his life. We're also going to grieve and mourn that he's not here anymore, that he's gone. And just to say, those two things, giving thanks and grieving, are not opposites. They come from the same place inside of us. So we find ourselves on a time like this today, able to laugh and smile, and able to cry and weep. We will do both today. And then we'll do our best to say goodbye to him. It's a moment in time. That's why it's a sacred time to let him go as best that you can. I think the truth is you carry on letting them go in the months and years ahead. It's not a one-off thing, but it certainly is what we would want to do today for Jim. So I'm going to start briefly with a few words about your grief. Now, it's probable that I'm not saying anything you haven't heard before. Three things about grief. You have to endure it because it doesn't go away. It's a long road. I'd say it's a marathon, not a sprint. Grief is a difficult thing. And people say, how long should I grieve around it? You have to go through it, and you have to feel it and own it. All kinds of feelings, and they're contradictory, and it's a bit of a roller coaster. You'll be up one day and you'll be down the next day, and you won't know why, and nothing's changed, but your feelings are all over the place. Feelings like guilt and regret are the worst. And it's not you've done anything that you should be guilty about or that you regret, but small things. I wish I'd said this to him, or I wish I'd spent more time with him, or I didn't do what I wanted to do. Those small little things are magnified in grief. And we have to feel them and experience them. You will miss him unbearably, indescribably. You'll want to talk to him often. You might even find yourself sending him a message before you realize, gosh, I can't do that anymore. You'll want to hear his voice. So I'd say to those whose grief is heavy today, feel it, and it's okay to feel it. Then the last thing about grief is you need to express those feelings. Bottled up feelings of grief are harmful to us, so you've got to get them out. So talk to someone. And you might get boring, you might get repetitive, because grief goes on and on and on, and you say the same thing over and over. I miss him so much, I miss him so much, I'm so sad, there's a hole in my heart. And that doesn't go away. So you repeat it, and you repeat it, and you express it. And people tend to get tired of that. So find someone you can speak to, who will listen to you, because you have to get those feelings of grief out. If you're not good at talking, maybe write them inside. Some people go for a walk out on the field in the country and shout out to the heavens. So Jim is gone, and the loss is great, and we feel that today. Then in the same breath, we give thanks. And as Grant was saying earlier, after the service, over some drinks, we'll carry on telling stories, laughing, remembering jokes, incidents, all those kinds of things. That's who Jim is, and that's how we remember him and pay tribute to him today. Going to start with Grant, and then it's Mark, Abby. Are the other grandchildren also coming up? All four. And then Alex and Kirsten. And we'll just leave it at that. No more eulogies from the floor. Those can be said afterwards. But I'd ask Grant if he would come up.
Right, this is the tough. I've got messages on tablets, phones, emails, and printed, which kind of gave me an excuse to read everything because it's easier. So, where does one start trying to do justice to the memory of a man loved by all those? It would be easy for me to stand here today and regale you with endless stories filled with laughter, humor, and never-ending adventures. It would be a long diatribe, that's for sure. And whilst Jim was never one to miss an adjective when telling a story, he also wasn't one for long drawn-out formal events, so I'll endeavor to keep this short. Jim was an immense presence. He filled the room with his contagious laughter, his big booming voice, and one of the most engaging personalities I've ever had the privilege of being around. His eternal optimism, quite often in the face of real adversity, meant all those around him found it almost impossible to not see the good in everything and everyone. He loved his family fiercely. He was the protector of his girls, his grandkids, and those he held dear to his huge heart. Jim the Eagle, as he was affectionately known by his family after Spike Milligan's classic Bad Jelly, truly was nearly as strong as God. Even during his final months, that man wouldn't be felled. Even as we lightheartedly referred to him as Lazarus after one of his extended hospital stays, he continued the good fight until he decided that he was not done. And with that, he left us. While we may argue too soon, what we can all agree on is Jim lived a full life and has left us all with so many wonderful memories, and I'm sure we'll share those later and in the years to come. Fly high, Jim. Thank you for your time with us, and know that you're loved and terribly missed. So, the next one I've got is from Ollie, which is pretty tough. So, hi everyone. Thanks for being here today to celebrate the life of my grandpa. It's hard to believe he's gone, but I'm very grateful for the time we had with him. Grandpa Jim was one of those people who made a huge impact on everyone he met. He wasn't just a grandpa, he was a friend, a mentor, and someone always had an open door to talk to. He had this incredible ability to make you feel like you were the most important person in the room, no matter what else was going on. He had a great sense of humor too, and his laugh was contagious. I'll never forget how he always interrupted everyone when he had a thought, because quite frankly, after everyone else was done talking, he would have forgotten what he wanted to say. Even when he wasn't feeling his best, Grandpa still cared so deeply about all of us. He always asked how everyone was doing, making sure we were okay. His love for everyone in his life is so big, and it's something that will live on in all of us. I know he's looking down on us now with that same kind, caring smile, and probably laughing at how many people are here to celebrate him. While it's hard to imagine life without him, we're lucky to have so many memories to hold on to. His stories, his advice, the way he made us feel loved. We'll miss him, but we know he's in a happier place, and that gives us comfort knowing that he's with his brother, daughter, and all the other family and friends. He spent some time in the hospital before he passed. Although the last time I saw him, he could barely talk, he knew I was there, and although weak, he shook my hand for the final time. On the night of the 6th, I knew something was wrong because I couldn't sleep. When I heard my mom leave, I hoped for the best but expected the worst. In the morning, when Mom came and told me, I wasn't surprised, but I was very sad. I don't know, but these things just happen. So Grandpa Jim, thank you for everything. We love you and will carry your memory with us always. Rest easy, Grandpa. Right, the next message I've got is from Ivan Scott. So, Ivan writes, an ode to my friend James. James died today. It's an extremely sad day for me. As the song goes, you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And James is gone. James was my true friend. A friend is someone that you wanted to be around regularly. It is someone who will drop everything to be with you if you need them for any reason whatsoever. It is someone who will not take advantage of your friendship for their own benefit. A true friend helps one stay on the path of righteousness. A faithful and true friend is a sturdy shelter. And who does find one finds a treasure. That was James, and I found James. James was the big brother that I never had, which he did become. To me, he was a brother, a mentor, a shoulder to cry on, a non-judgmental pal, a confidant, an advisor, a believer, and a caring prince. There has never been a better man who walked the earth. James was 1 in 8 billion. James was a hoot. James was always laughing, and it was infectious. Who could ever forget the wonderful times we spent with James? The rugby bus trips to Bulawayo with the pea funnel and pipe up the door. The rugby plane trip to Bulawayo when we all moved quietly to the back of the plane and then all rushed to the front, which put the Viscount into a steep dive and the pilot into a very bad mood. The time the boys went to Mozambique for a weekend and spent a long time looking for a missing Ray Matthews, trying to explain to the Mozambican police that they were looking for a guy with one brown eye and one blue eye. The quantum kite flying contest with James's box kite that would not fly and was eventually ceremoniously jumped on and crushed by all 4 of his team members. The pool and snooker games that we had on Sunday afternoons at Quandam. The water polo games with James being able to score from anywhere in the pool, such was his strength. The sing-songs after rugby games, the parties at Nim Street, dinner parties with James and Lorna, and on and on. James was young. In spite of the fact that his body aged like the rest of us, James's mind did not age. It was always a pleasure to be around him and listen to his non-judgmental discussions on anything that you wanted to talk about. James loved the Scouts. James was godfather to our daughter Nicola. We left James and Lorna in body and moved to Canada in 1994, but we never left them in spirit. Whenever I talked to James, he made a point of telling me to give Merle a big kiss and a big hug from him. He was always happy to hear from us, but he was a very bad email communicator. This did not matter because the 2 times we went back to South Africa, it seemed that we had never been away from each other. That strong was our friendship. James loved Lorna. How could he not? He appreciated everything she did for him. She's a saint that loved him too. His life changed the day that he met Lolo. He was happy. James changed the world. James was a successful son, older brother, Jeppy boy, Rover Scout, husband, father, son-in-law, and accountant. He at one time was acknowledged by the Guinness Book of Records as holding the record of downing a certain amount of beer in the shortest time ever. Pretty sure it was a tasty castle. James is still my friend. James is out there somewhere still looking out for my best interests and for all those friends that he knew and cared deeply about. Go boldly to wherever you go, my dear friend James. I'll miss you. Ivan. Right, the second last one. This is from Mark and Brenda Warder, who are unfortunately overseas visiting family. A tribute to Jim. First and foremost, my deepest condolences go out to Lorna, Kirsty, Ali, and the entire family. I wish more than anything that I could be with you today, but unfortunately I'm overseas and unable to return. Please know that my thoughts, love, and prayers are with you all. Jim, Jimmy, James, Jimbo, or Fairy as we all knew him, was a man like no other. There are countless stories to tell about him, and every single one is filled with humor and laughter. That was Jim. He had a way of lighting up any room, making everyone feel at ease, and turning even the simplest moments into unforgettable memories. No matter the situation, Jim was always upbeat. If he was ever feeling down, he never let it show. He had a natural ability to bring people together, whether at a party, where he was undoubtedly the life and soul, or on the sports field, the golf course, or in the business world. Jim was an incredible golfer, a competitive teammate, and a true sportsman. His presence on the golf course was as formidable as it was entertaining. I can attest to that. I've played with him many times. He was always up for a challenge, consistently posting solid scores and making every round more enjoyable with his wit and charm. Our golf tours down to Natal were legendary, and Jim was a favorite among both his own team and all the Natal sides. In his later years, Jim swapped his golf clubs for the game of lawn bowls, and true to form, he didn't just play. He embraced it wholeheartedly. He joined the Jeppy Bowling Club, and within a week, it felt as if he had been there forever. He played in every competition he could, and whether he won or lost, he took it all in his stride with the same sportsmanship and good humor he was known for. The holidays we shared together were anything but dull. In fact, we'd be on one trip and already planning the next, ensuring that the fun never stopped. These moments will remain some of my fondest memories, filled with our laughter, adventure, and unmistakable presence of Jim, making every experience richer. As I said, there are too many stories to share in one speech, but if you ever find me at the bar, come over and I promise you I have plenty to tell and they're worth hearing. Jim, you fought the good fight. I know you're at peace. You'll never be forgotten in my book. You'll always be the king. Mike and Brenda. Is from Jim's nephew, Stephen, over in Australia. And I've seen Andrew's here today as well. He was the patriarch, the brother of our father, the stalwart of the Fairhursts, a captain, a gentleman, scholar, and a believable man, and an unbelievable man, and someone we loved. Even though our visits were few and far between, the memories of our first Currie Cup final, which he arranged tickets for us to watch at Loftus when Natal beat Northern Transvaal, yes, KZN did win, going through the infamous Fairhurst bag, Lorna, you took us to our first ice skating. As farm boys, it was incredible. The amazing time we spent together will forever, even though short, embed in our lives. Uncle James was an amazing man. And that's it from me for now, guys. I'm going to hand it to Mike.
This is not a very long thing. It's just printed very large, so it looks like a lot of pages, but it's not. Grant, we're going to try and keep this tidy. No crying, Lorna said. When Lorna called me and asked me to say a few words about Jim, it was very easy to say yes. We are today to bid farewell to a giant of a man in stature and a larger-than-life character. Jim's whole body was a big, big heart. He was always willing to help wherever he could. She did say to me, "No tears, Mike," because she knows how emotional I can be. And that's the last thing Jim would want. He would have said, "No snot and trana." Sorry, I just clean my house. This glass is not as good as they think. Jim lived his life to the fullest and was loved and respected by all who knew him. His contagious laugh is always something I will always remember, and I'm sure you will too. Jim just loved to laugh. All of you here today have your own little stories you could share about Jim, be it golf tours, water polo, rugby tours, holidays in the game reserve, and I'm sure we will share some of those stories after a few beverages later. I met Jim some 48 years ago when I was still playing rugby, when Jim was still playing rugby at Chepiquandam here, and I was playing football. But I really got to know Jim as a special human being when I joined Kensington Golf Club. Our family friendship with the Fairhurst family developed even further in Bingham Field some 31 years ago. And we watched our kids grow up there, grandchildren arrive. We had many, many dinners, parties, and braais, and had a wonderful time. Jim was elected the first chairman of our body corporate. We always joked that he was the mayor, and later called him the mayor of Hingham Field. We all lived in the same street, and after a street braai one night and a few beverages, Jim said this was the best street in the complex, and he was right. He called it Bakgat Boulevard. We had such great times there. Doubt the thing keeps drifting. Sorry, hope you can hear me. As mentioned earlier, we all have some stories to tell of Jim. Many of them stayed on tour for good reason. I'm going to share 3 stories of Jim on the occasion were very funny. The first one was the mayor. We'd arranged a dinner party at our house. The Munros were still there, the McBrides. We had a lot of people for dinner that night. And it was quite a big party. Lorna was away visiting her sister Brenda and brother-in-law John in Scottsboro. Just to mention to you that Ash's mate, Matt Devinson, was staying with us that night. They were both still very, very young. We introduced him to Jim as the mayor. It was a Friday night, and Jim was very late in arriving for dinner. From where else? The head office, Kensington Golf Club. Hello, sorry I'm a bit late, Debs. What's for supper? Can I get a drink? Laughter followed. Sorry, Debs, but you know how it goes on Friday nights at the head office. Then came the next day. I was playing golf with our regular 4-ball on the Saturday afternoon. Matt's dad, Digby, Kevin, Joe and myself. Digby says to me on the tee, Matt tells me you had a dinner party last night at your place. Matt also said the mayor of Bedford View was there and he was in showroom condition and had a very, very long droopy ass. That was the one story that it's just always stuck with me. The hospital trip. I wake up around 1:45 one morning, go to the bathroom and collapse on the bathroom floor in utter pain and shout for Debbie to help me as I think I'm dying. None of us knew what was happening. I screamed, please get me to hospital. She phones our reliable neighbor, Jim, to please come and help. Mike has collapsed, but once again, Lorna was in Scottsboro for a family visit, and you know what's coming. By the time Jim arrives, I'm now in such agony, and he's taken ages to come from next door, and I mean next door. He arrives holding a cup of coffee, which he first made before coming to rescue me. Hello, Debs, what's up? Yes, you guessed it. He'd had another session at the head office. He'd had only gotten home about an hour before Debbie called. The trip to Linksfield was a nightmare. He dropped me off at Casualty and said, you okay? I must get home. I have to have some sleep. Got to fetch Lorna from the airport early in the morning. That was the story of my kidney stone. Return goods. Jim arrives at my place one Sunday morning, my drilling machine and drills in one hand, a dozen beers in the other hand. I borrowed them a while ago, which is we used to do, we just used to walk in and borrow things. I borrowed them a while ago, to which I replied, no problem, Jim, you're welcome, but not necessary to buy me some beers. No, he said. No was his reply. I also borrowed those as well. Should we crack one now, followed by a big laugh? Lorna. Lolo. I have so many messages from common friends who knew Jim. Just to name a few, Trevor Patrick from Durban. The world has lost a great man. Texan Jem from Berger from Cape Town. A mooi man. It summed him up. Send our best to the family. Jim, you filled our lives with good times and laughter. Book club will never be the same without you. I promise you I'll uphold the rules. No books, just dinner and beers. Yes, Jim, you have left us. But you've also left us with so many happy memories and a great legacy that you've left behind. Rest in peace, our good friend. Heaven must be rocking. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Seeing so many people gathered to celebrate our grandpa makes it clear. He wasn't just special to us, he was special to everyone he met. To those of you who didn't know, Grandpa was proudly known in our family as Jim the Eagle. Sounds legendary, doesn't it? like he should have had his own comic book or action movie, but in a way, the name fit him perfectly. Eagles are strong, wise, and always seem to have everything under control, just like Grandpa. And let's be honest, he also had a sharp eye for everything going on around him. You couldn't get away with much when Jim the Eagle was watching. Grandpa had a way of making life fun, whether it was sneaking our plates under the table without us noticing, or stating that this was the best ever meal he ever had. He had a knack for making ordinary moments feel like an adventure, and if you ever needed advice, he had plenty. Some wise, some questionable, and some that made you wonder if he was just messing with you. But more than anything, Grandpa taught us how to love fiercely, live fully, and always keep our sense of humor. He showed us that family comes first, that hard work matters, and that it's okay to laugh, even at yourself. So today, instead of just mourning, let's also celebrate. Let's share stories, let's laugh, and let's remember Jim the Eagle the way he'd want us to, with joy in our hearts and maybe a little mischief in our eyes. Grandpa, we love you, we miss you, and we'll keep your spirit soaring high, just like an eagle should.
I decided that I was going to keep it very short and sweet, and I'd let Kirst, I think, is doing a bit more, and I have left my poem behind. Great start. Leave it behind. So I've just got a little poem that I wrote for Dad. Happy and jolly, the life of the party was he, yet kind and gentle, and never forgot my mom's tea. This was Jim the Eagle, or James. All of these were some of his names. His nickname back was Oompa Doompa, Sausage and Frogs. He started his early career working in grogs, Coca-Cola and SAB in the early days, and then into the auto industry for the later phase. He was a fantastic girl dad to us, always offering advice and lending a hand. An amazing dad, grandpa, and friend who kept us entertained right to the end. He was one in a million and will be sorely missed. You're beautiful, you're endless. Now stretch your wings and fly. You're loved by so many, so it will never be goodbye. Close your pretty eyes, no more tears, just go and rest. Let your soul lie peacefully. We know you did your best.
Who's next? Okay. Standing up here today to pay tribute to my dad is very surreal. But today we're celebrating an extraordinary life, a big man with an even bigger personality. Dad was our rock, dependable, available, adventurous, real, honest, reliable, strong, humorous, and above all, he was so unbelievably kind. The thing is, it's hard to be sad when I think of my dad. Even till the end, he had us laughing and showed his wicked sense of humor from his hospital bed. Dad meant so many different things to so many different people. We all have stories to tell, and boy, do we love hearing the stories of his life. A life that was seriously well lived. To this day, we are being told new stories of what he got up to that we've never heard of before. And they're always great. They always involve laughter, unimaginable adventure, often a lot of mischief, but always good, innocent fun. I thought I'd give a few examples of what Dad was to us. Some of you may relate to some and have experienced with him. Others you may question, and if you want to know detail, you can ask us later. My dad was a very proud Jeppy old boy, regaling stories of the old days, but so enjoying updates and news about the school up to the end. He was the Christmas turkey briar. Don't anybody mess with that Weber. He took his role very seriously. He was the clivier cultivator. There can't be many people around who don't have cliviers in their garden that have somehow come from Dad's patience. He was the Sunday day tripper. He took so much joy from taking us to obscure places on a spontaneous journey. He was the late night fetcher, even if it meant arriving in his pajamas, much to Elle and my horror. He was the morning tea maker. He was the bedtime tea maker. His house of girls appreciated it every day. And I know that come hell or high water, Mom always had a cup of steaming tea waiting for her next to her bed. The Saturday golfer, the dedicated bowler, his love for spending time with friends on a sports field was so core to his being. The Guinness World Record beer downer, a title he carried with pride and laughter. The holiday adventurer, always chasing new experiences for us and him, whether near or far. The holiday accommodation showerhead cleaner, don't ask. The veggie soup maker, the talented water polo, rugby, squash, hockey player, the always confident backline swimmer, taking us by our hands and pulling us to get there. The deep sea diver, an adventurous hobby taken up to spend more time with Eleanor. The best/worst bad joke teller, and boy, could they go on and on and on while we waited for the punchline. The proudest grandpa. His joy, the joy for his grandchildren was unmatched. The hardest worker, the patient teacher. He should have got an award for the hours he spent trying so hard to teach me how to do accounts and tax. Not my strong point, and he never won. The sunglasses adopter, somehow ending up with more pairs of Grant sunglasses than anyone could count. The Checkers Oddbins connoisseur. Give him a number, he knew what it was and where it came from. A big bear hugger, a super strong handshaker, a game reserve lover, a fountain of knowledge. He always seemed to have an answer for every question, even if he had had to make it up. A conversation maker. No one ever felt uneasy in his presence. He had a way of making everyone feel seen, heard, and loved, and he carried himself with a genuineness that was rare and beautiful. There's a great story about him sidling over and having a chat to Prince Charles, who was standing alone at a trade function in the UK. And, as we've heard a few times today, as Spike Milligan said, he was Jim the Eagle, almost as strong as God. Let's celebrate the incredible legacy that my dad leaves behind, a legacy of love, laughter, adventure, authenticity, and kindness. I love you, Dad, and I'll miss you.
Is that it? We've all spoken. That was beautiful, wasn't it? And we celebrate Jim today. Yeah. Almost want to stop the service now and just go straight to celebrate him. But I'm going to continue with the last part. We're going to say goodbye to him now. And that's hard. That's hard to do. We've tried to talk about the fact that Jim is gone, and we have talked about that. And we've smiled and laughed if we celebrated his life. And it's true that his memories live forever in you. I think it goes a notch deeper. His spirit is alive in you forever. And you'll be like him. Maybe not all like him, but parts of you will be just like him because he's passed that on to you. He's certainly not gone from God. I remember the days long time ago when he was quite regular at church. Yeah. Not that that's a big deal, but he was. He's not gone from God. He's home now. Remember Jesus said there are many rooms in my Father's house and I'm going to prepare a place for you. I just wish we could grasp that better than we do. I mean, what's it like there? Is he cracking a beer and smiling at us now? What is it, you know? But we take great comfort that he's gone from life to death to another life. You've got to believe that. We can't take that for granted. We've got to believe it or imagine it. I'm often asked by people, and especially at a funeral service, what is heaven like? Well, quite frankly, I don't know. But I can guess. There are clues left for us in the holy books. I can guess. I'd say that heaven is a paradise that is specially carved out for Jim. That's what it is. It's tailor-made for Jim. Now, it's big enough. The universe is still expanding. Heaven's got to be big enough for everyone and personal enough for each person that's there. So whatever home would be for Jim, and we're all going to have a different picture of that, he's at home now. Gone from you, from us, but he's in an eternal place now. And we believe that with all our hearts today. We feel his presence. We felt his presence here today. And we feel his love with us today. He lives forever, truly. We're going to listen to the song Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. If you could remain seated as we listen to the song, as we remember Jim today. going to ask that you please stand in a moment of silence. O God, all that you have given us is yours. At first you gave Jim to us, the miracle of his birth and the wonder of his life. You knew him growing there in his mother's womb. And you were with him all the days of his beautiful life. Now we give him back to you. We give him to eternity from whence he came, to the place that you have prepared for him. We give back to the earth that which belongs to the earth, so we lay his body down, but his spirit we place in your hands now. So we commit his body to the elements, earth to earth and dust to dust, in sure and certain hope of the resurrection to eternal life, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. If you'll please be seated. We've got 2 more moments. Jim's favourite song. We're going to listen to it. You'll recognise it immediately. And then Grant will close for us.
Don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better. Hey Jude, don't be afraid. You were made to go out and get her. The minute you let her under your skin, then you begin to make it better. And anytime you feel the pain, hey Jude, refrain. Don't carry
right, guys. That kind of winds everything up in terms of this part of today. I think a lot was said incredibly well. Abs, well done. Ali and Kirst, it was very impressive getting through that. And some really beautiful words, and I think a great reflection on a man that was very much loved. What the girls have also done is put a playlist together, and a lot of Jim's favorite songs. I mean, I've heard that man sing this song I don't know how many times, but I know on the list there's a plethora of others that are probably going to mean a lot to each and every one of us in different ways, and I think it's probably going to kickstart some stories and memories of inevitably some bad behavior. So please enjoy it. We're going to move across over here for some snacks and some drinks shortly, but on behalf of Lorna, Al, Kirsten, and the whole family, thank you all for coming through today. It really is appreciated, and I think is a reflection of a great man who was greatly loved. So thanks, everyone.
Now that I've lost everything to you, you say you want to start something new, and it's breaking my heart you're leaving. Maybe I'm grieving, that if you want to leave, take good care. Hope you have a lot of nice things to wear, but then a lot of nice things turn bad out there. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. It's a wild world. I'll always remember you like a child, girl. You know I've seen a lot of what the world can do, and it's breaking my heart in two, because I never want to see you sad, girl. Don't be a bad girl, but if you want to leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there. Just remember there's a lot of bad and beware. Beware. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. And I'll always remember you like a child, girl. Baby, I love you, but if you want to leave, take good care. Hope you make a lot of nice friends out there, but just remember there's a lot of bad and beware. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. I'll always remember you like a child, girl. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just upon a smile. Oh baby, baby, it's a wild world. And I'll always remember you like a child, girl.
I'm the great pretender, a dream